Welcome to the Teach Better Talk podcast, your official podcast for the Teach Better Podcast Network, the hub for all things education, brought to you by teachbetter.com. The Teach Better Talk podcast is committed to answering your burning questions through a variety of lenses and bringing new offers to you and your colleagues to help you thrive throughout the school year. My name is Ray Hewart, and we love your questions here on the pod. If you have any questions that you'd love us to consider as topics for future episodes, please share them with us by emailing info@teachbetter.com.
How can we prepare our body physically for the marathon that is school? We have such a good conversation ahead in today's episode and an awesome focus for the physical health of our bodies as we dive into our work week. My name is Ray Hewart, and we have Meghan Pahlke here. For many of you who may not know her, this is an all-star educator actually on our team. So I want to give her a quick shout out. You probably heard me give her a shout out already on the episode prior, but I'm very excited for you to get to know her. Meghan, how are you doing today?
Oh gosh, I am super excited, super pumped, but I'm not going to lie. I'm a little tired from the craziness that is school. So just trying to kind of figure all of that out and manage and balance at the same time.
You know, I feel like educators talk about the first week or two of teacher tired, but it's very rare that we actually talk about the physical demands of what it takes to be an educator right now in public, private. It doesn't matter what age group. There's a lot going on that teachers need to prepare for.
My feet hurt. My voice hurts. I've been talking more than I have for the last 2.5 months. It's a game changer. I love it. It's amazing. I'm super pumped that school has started, but I'm exhausted.
Yes. Well, we have a lot in store in terms of tips and tricks, but also a little bit of venting possibly related to this topic. I love it. Meghan, before we get too far in, do you mind sharing a little bit about who you are, what you do, kind of all that jazz?
So I'm a 7th grade special education teacher in Illinois. I have the privilege of co-teaching 2 classes. I have an intervention class, I have an advisory, and all the things. So if you were to see me at my school, you'd find me running up and down the 7th grade hallway. And like Ray mentioned, I have the privilege of also being a part of the wonderful Teach Better team.
We love having you on the team. Actually, friends, if you are scheduling your professional development with the Teach Better team and you are seeking support for your special education crew, your paraprofessionals, really anyone a part of the support of students in any way, shape, or form, Meghan might be involved in the training because she is a very, very beautiful expert on our team that does so much. Meghan, I know there has been a lot of action this year specifically around supporting professional development with special education teachers and or professionals, because more often than not, that's the group that's overlooked on those institute days.
Well, and really all students are our students, right? Including our students with IEPs, 504 plans, and just students that may need some additional support. And we're looking at all of our educators as part of the team, right? So it's super important that we're supporting our general education teachers, our specialists, our special education teachers, and shout out to our paraprofessionals because they are in the trenches with our students as well. And we need to make sure we support them in doing all of the phenomenal work and support that they do with our students every day.
Meghan, we actually just did a professional development day here in Illinois, which I know we're very Illinois heavy right now, but it just so happened that's where the school is. I'm not lying. And we got paraprofessionals in a school building signed up for our Teach Better Academy. And they got to go through the whole gamut of what courses we have there. They get to choose what courses they want to take and set goals for. Obviously, they're all synchronous, so they'll kind of do those over the next few institute days. But one specifically that is a requirement is the co-teaching course that you put out this summer, which is perfect for a paraprofessional to look into because they are facilitators in the classroom as well.
Well, I think we've just provided so many tips, tricks, strategies, and resources, all the resources to really facilitate those awesome proactive conversations about how to work as a team and co-plan to make sure that we're providing cohesive services and support for all students, whether that's students with IEPs, and then the school that we work specifically were for our EL students as well. So just supporting all of those good tips and tricks as well as those good communication strategies.
Yeah, I find it really interesting now that we've gotten way more into this work, because I won't lie, this is relatively new for the team that we've been able to specialize in this way. And I'm so glad we can finally bring this to schools on a consistent basis. But we very frequently, at least as a teacher, I would fault the paraprofessionals for not knowing some of what I called like basic, obvious things that they should have a skill set in. But the more I've learned about how that role is facilitated, how challenging that role is to fill for a leader, and then how much training they don't get, I just think it's so nice to be able to provide them with some insight and training that's not just sitting in on meetings or trainings that don't really have to do with them. They don't really apply to what they do day in, day out. So being able to specialize that and target like specific skills you want paraprofessionals or anybody to actually possess is so much more beneficial. I'm so excited.
When you don't know what you don't know, right? So I feel like oftentimes as teachers, we kind of assume that a paraprofessional knows what you're expecting of them, and they're unsure, and maybe they don't want to step on your toes, or unsure of like the types of accommodations or instructional strategies that we want to provide to specific students, or even just good behavior management and really creating those awesome relationships with students. So the more we can proactively provide that support to paraprofessionals, they'll be off and running and taking initiative. And you'll find that your paraprofessionals are really going to be your right-hand man. I know that I can't survive without my paraprofessional. Like, I could not do what I do without her. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, that's so important and so valuable. And even just later on, I know we're going to talk about classroom management a bit because I think that's our upcoming sponsor. But, you know, the opportunity that we have to not only teach classroom teachers how to facilitate strong classroom management, but then on the flip side, offer a new training now to teach our paraprofessionals how to get to know the classroom management rules that exist in a classroom and how they can support those rules and initiatives. It's just, this is exciting work, and I'm glad that we can finally make it more of a well-known support that we offer. So.
And just be intentional in our practices, right? Not just assume or expect, but be super intentional and cohesive so that students are getting the same wonderful support, instruction, intervention, enrichment from every educator in the building. And paraprofessional will not take away that title. They are as much as an educator in that building than anybody else. So we want to make sure that we're providing them rich professional development the same way we would any staff member.
Oh my gosh, we've totally gotten on a tangent. Obviously, this is not our focus for today, but Megan, every time we talk, like, your brain is amazing. I always want to celebrate the work that you're out doing. And obviously you're in schools every single day, so I don't know how you do it. Before we get into our topic, Megan, let's completely go off the cuff here away from our topic. Tell me a little bit about what you did this summer, because I know a lot of our community here started to get to know you better over the last few months, probably followed your journey this summer. You do anything fun?
Oh my gosh, we were so busy. Like, summer always goes by in a flash, but this summer, even more than usual, we are super fortunate to have friends that have a pool 5 minutes away. So like, floating in the pool is a must, at least 2 times a week. We're also in the midst of like a crazy wedding spree. So my husband was in a wedding a handful of weeks ago. Then we went to a family wedding. We also went to San Diego. So we were super fortunate to get out of the state, swim in the ocean, do a little bit of whale watching, eat some different foods that we don't necessarily have in the Chicagoland area. So it was super busy. But I always get to the point that like come end of July, early August, I miss school. Like I'm relaxed, I'm ready, I'm bored, to be honest. Like the pool's kind of not doing it. I've done all the lunches with friends. So as much as summer was amazing, I'm pumped that we're here back in fall.
Yeah, no, this is great. And I just want to remind all of you that summer was not that long ago. So if you are struggling to reset, I would encourage you all to head back to past episodes where we've talked about really great ways to get mentally in a healthy spot, or reach out to the team. We're here to support you always. Let's dive into what we call the school marathon. And we're going to get into some physical elements of our work. We'll be right back.
Quick pause to talk about classroom management strategies with the Teach Better team. We all know that anytime you're in the classroom, whether you are in the trenches working day to day with students or a teacher leader roaming the building, supporting everyone in between, classroom management strategies is something we all need to work on. And whether you've been teaching for 2 years or 35 years, this is definitely an area we can always improve. Head over to teachbetter.com/professional development to see how the Teach Better team can help you with your classroom management strategies, whether it's a refresh or a relearn.
How can we prepare our physical bodies for what we call the marathon of teaching? There is so many physical requirements that we have as educators, and we're going to spend all week looking at how we can keep your body healthy. Meghan, there's a lot of directions that we can go with this. Where do you think we should begin?
So let's talk about the physical stamina about school. Like at home, I've been laying on the couch, I've been floating in the pool. Like I had such a chill, relaxing summer. And all of a sudden, when I'm back in a school, I'm standing more than usual. I'm running up and down the hallways. I'm providing students breaks, like all the things. And it's just so physically different than what I was doing over the summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't feel as though outsiders understand how much physical requirements we have as educators, standing being a huge one. I'm standing all day, every day. And then during my breaks, I'm not really sitting at my desk. I'm going to the next thing. I'm headed to go make copies. I'm going to go like gossip with my teacher friend. Like I'm really not doing much other than standing and buzzing around the classroom. And geez, the steps I can get in a school day, it's so good.
Well, and I'm not even gonna lie either. I am not as young as I once was starting my career, and we have so much flexible seating options in the classroom, and some of them are lower to the ground, and getting down to the ground with a student, I'm making the old person noises and I'm feeling the cracks in my ankles, and it's totally different.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about the up and down movements. In addition to stairs, if you were in a building with lots of stairs, we could go on and on about the different requirements here. And it's not so much that I can't do it once. Like, you need me to lean down one time, I got you, girl. But like every 6 minutes for 8 hours straight, I feel like I'm at the gym now.
Well, and then it's amazing too, being in a grid method classroom where you're facilitating learning and you have organized chaos where students are working on all sorts of different things based on their levels of mastery and their pace, which is amazing. But then you're running around a classroom, you're reteaching mini lessons, you're up, down, you're everywhere. And it's amazing for students and it's amazing for us too, but it's just a lot of movement.
Can I quickly take us off track, because I've been dying to find a space to do this for all of our grid method teachers specifically. This is your public service announcement. Remember that you never want to do a student teacher conference while sitting unless you are looking for it to be a very lengthy process. Like if you are, I can't think of an example because I don't necessarily approve sitting during a conference, but if you're expecting to take a group for 10 minutes, choose to sit. But if you're doing a conference that is anywhere from 8 minutes to 15 seconds, the research is supporting standing. Stand up, you'll be more efficient, effective, and you'll get more out of the student. Remember, there's something that happens to our bodies when we sit down. The energy washes out of us. The energy goes down. You have to restart the motivation that's happening. So as a reminder for all of you, especially if we're doing the grid method, because that is getting you so much student-teacher conferencing, please remember that you need to be standing. I'm sorry. It's my favorite topic ever.
No, but it's perfect. It's such a good reminder too.
Yeah, my favorite thing ever. It will help you be more efficient. If any of you are needing support on that, DM us. We'll be happy to help. But Meghan, I know that you used to do workouts in the morning. Did you find that helped you, or are you like me where I would do workouts in the morning and then I'd be so sore that I would be useless in the classroom?
So I'm not gonna lie, it was super tough waking up because school for me starts at 7:30. So that meant waking up at like 5 o'clock. So getting up earlier to even start my day, work out, come home, shower, grab the coffee, grab lunch, and then get back out again. But oh my gosh, by the time I got to school, the level of energy I had and just the amount of the ability to be awake and present with that big smile to welcome students into class, like the energy I had just from a workout in the morning was a game changer.
Well, and it sounds like the way you structured your morning workout didn't allow for downtime between when you got going and when you got to school, which I think is the key. If I ever do a workout in the morning, come home to shower, and then sit, that's when you lose, right?
And then just like conferencing with goal setting though, like you sit down and all of a sudden you lose momentum and it slows down. And then the worst thing that you want to do is get to school late and then have your morning totally thrown off because you sat for a sec and it was a second, but it wasn't.
Yeah, no, that is literally the definition of terrible decisions in my life. But I know tomorrow's episode, we're actually going to look into some stretches that you could do, whether it be in the morning or during your break. So make sure you pay attention to that episode tomorrow. Megan, I like the concept of a workout in the morning. I think that's a really good way to boost the energy, get you going for your day. And whether we acknowledge it or not, whether you did something super low key or really high intensity, you are getting your muscles moving and you're building up that strength to serve you with the stamina. I think stamina in teaching is a totally underrated topic.
Oh my gosh, your stamina, your endurance to go through however long your school day is, 7, 8 hours of being up in the classroom, running around your building, providing help and support to students. Even if you're carrying like boxes of books or like your laptop or whatever those supplies are, just having a little bit more strength and energy is so helpful.
Okay, I know I'm not supposed to condone this, but sometimes I get off topic when we're together because I love talking to you. What about balance? Because I will maybe acknowledge the fact that I have maybe stood on things I shouldn't have stood on as an educator, like counters and desks, and I won't admit to everything. But there's an element of like educators need good balance. Maybe this is another like PSA, don't stand on anything with wheels, in case anybody needed that reminder this year.
Well, and that's why, and when you start looking at if you are someone who wants to get into workouts, like choose something that's the right fit for you so you feel comfortable, you fit active, and it suits your where you're at in terms of your exercise and your fitness. But the thing that I loved about the class that I took, there was balance incorporated. And I had to like balance on a Bosu ball and like throw a medicine ball. And it helps for the goofy, silly stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that. I also feel like I become creative because the small things we do during like strange workout classes, I'm like, I could do this as a math review, like in some variation or form. You know what I mean? Like there's some element there of like creativity, especially as a former middle school teacher. Like if there's any way to make a science like topic or a math topic or a writing project more entertaining by having them balance or toss something back and forth, sign me up. Sign me up.
Well, and I think there's something to be said too about challenging ourselves to get better at something. I by no means am the strongest, most fittest person, but going to that workout class was a challenge for me. So not only did I feel like I was helping my strength, endurance, balance, all the things, but then I would walk into school with goofy, silly stories about how that workout was a challenge or a time I totally thought I embarrassed myself. And then it was so cool too to see my instructor provide me feedback about like form and then coaching students on how I received that feedback and tried to apply it. I mean, like the parallels amongst school were limitless.
Okay, what was the most embarrassing thing that happened that you told your students about? Do you have anything really, really awesome?
Okay, so that Bosu ball, for those of you who are unsure of what that is, it's like a big exercise ball, but it's like half.
Yeah, so you can either flip it over and stand on the hard part with the ball as your base, or you can put it on the flat side and stand on the ball.
Yes. So
Okay.
there was a particular workout where we were using the Bosu ball and you were like jumping side to side with weights. So like
God.
you're balancing the strength. Yeah. So I think I must have lost my balance or I wasn't paying attention, but I just like fell. And I'm the type of person, whether I'm a student or like I'm in a class, like I like to be in the front. I want to see the instructor
Oh,
model something from me.
oh
So
my God.
I fell in front of the entire class. And like it wasn't a cute little fall. It was like an ugly big, I dropped the weights, I smacked the floor, like
I love adults falling. Like, I want everyone to be safe, but isn't there a comical element when somebody who's very healthy and doesn't hurt themselves fall and you're like, oh my God.
and after the initial shock of like, I think I'm okay. And like everybody in the class being super sweet and making sure that I was okay, like having to just take a breath, take a moment, and then get back up and keep going.
Yes, and get back up, like pick up your pride. Don't let it mentally like ruin your day. I mean, that's a practice that we need to put into place regardless of what you're doing, but it's interesting. We expect our students to be able to do that really well, but we don't always exist in circumstances where we have to do it, and that is not easy. That is not easy.
But I still had a great workout. I had great energy from school, for school. And then I had a really good story to tell students all day long that we got a really good laugh about, but then also had a really good message.
Yeah. Friends, if you have any good, like, goofy stories about accidents, whether it be in the classroom or at a workout class, like, I would love for you guys to direct message us about those. There are always some good ones. I have to say, Megan, I want to make sure everybody's okay and healthy. We don't want to hear about you like breaking your leg. You have to have survived in an okay way for us to hear it. But Megan, I won't lie. I was going to the vet but I just needed to run in and pick up something.
Yes.
And my dogs were stuck at home. This happened this summer. And I was like, I'm going to be the fun dog owner. And I'm going to put the dogs in the car so they get a car ride, but I'm not going to bring them with me. I'm literally walking in and walking out. So I, as the cool dog owner I am, pack the dogs up. My pants were a little long, but I was like, who cares? I'm just going to run into the vet. Who cares? I threw on some sandals that probably I shouldn't have been wearing with those long pants. No big deal. I get out of the car. I don't turn it off. Let the dogs just enjoy while I'm running in. And I literally tripped up the curb to the point, Megan, where I rolled. Like, this was a adult fall. Like, I either fell like a 5-year-old falls on the playground or a 90-year-old woman falls. Like, I toppled hardcore. I ripped my pants, literally ripped my pants on my knee and scraped my knee and scraped my elbow. And I rolled up and was like, oh my God, did anybody see that? Nobody did. But then I had to go into the vet like nothing had happened, even though I was hobbling like a child. And there was this moment of okay, students also have those moments as well where something happens and it's completely on their mind and it takes up 99% of their space in their brain, but they're trying to fake it for the people in front of them. And I was so humbled.
But it's such a great lesson though, because we're always telling our students, take risks. It's okay to fail. Like, I want to give you a challenge. And then I think sometimes as adults and teachers, we forget what that's like, right? And so it's really important to kind of understand what that can be and then model that. How do you shake yourself off? How do you persevere? How do you recover? How do you process those things where it's all consuming when really no one else even saw and they're not sure, but it's eating you alive. And students need to hear those things from us.
Completely. And the recovery process. I'm so glad you weren't hurt when you fell in your class. For me, I legitimately scraped my knee like a 5-year-old and it hurt for 2 weeks. I was like, this is not fun. Concrete rug burn. I was like, now this is on my mind for 2 weeks. that's outrageous. But these types of like silly moments that we experience as adults is very much something that our students go through. So it's just funny and good to be able to talk through some of these things, not only to get a giggle, but also to have empathy for each other. So I love that. The other thing, before we get too far in, sorry, Megan, I want to make sure we talk about the fact that you also co-teach. So aren't you running around the school all the time?
Oh my gosh. When we got a new social worker, she's phenomenal. She saw me running up and down the hallways and she was like, do you want roller skates? Like, didn't I see you over there? Why are you over there now? And I was trying to explain that, like, so I have this schedule and I co-teach with this awesome teacher. And then like after I co-teach with that awesome teacher, but then I forgot this thing in my classroom. And then a student over here needed a break. And that, like, I am just everywhere. And I love it. Like, I love the organized crazy. It's what my students need. I thrive in it, but I am everywhere.
Do you ever count your steps? Do you have like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch? Are Fitbits still a thing? Maybe it's just Apple Watches. I don't know.
I think it's more of an Apple Watch. I'm not a big watch person. And I think I would like focus on competing with my steps every day. But I feel like if I did, it would be ridiculous. And I think a lot of us as educators, whether you count your steps or not, like they're up there in the thousands for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. What is it? How many steps are you supposed to do a day? I don't remember, but educator, like anytime I was teaching, I got there every time. So
like 10,000. I think
like
easily crush that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's really easy. Okay, I feel like in a perfect world, which I know can't happen right now, but we would get you like something that could be on your belt that would count your steps, and we'd be able to track you like Santa, where it'd be like, how's Megan doing on her steps today?
And then it could be a total math lesson and we're graphing it and see where it goes. We could goal set it. Like, it could be a whole thing.
You are such a nerd.
And I like, only if it could be like green with some pops of purple for my school as well. And like get a good balance between like some teach better spirit and some school spirit. Cause like, I just feel like it could be a whole thing.
Oh my gosh, friends, we need to take some time to figure this out. We'll be right back with our major takeaways and contact information. We're going to be talking all week about how we can physically prepare our body for success in the school system, regardless if you're a leader, a coach, a classroom teacher, a paraprofessional, or let's be honest, anything in between. Our whole educational ecosystem has a lot of movement with some crazy kiddos, regardless of what age group you teach. There will be a lot of conversation that we'll be having all week, but Megan, there has been some wonderful major takeaways from today's episode. If you had to highlight one key takeaway you hope people keep in mind after this episode, whether it be something that we talked about or even something we haven't gotten to yet that we just want to share, what do you hope people keep in mind?
School is amazing, but it's a marathon. So it's just so important to take care of yourself. And part of that is your physical health and making sure that you're keeping up with that and you're creating that good stamina, endurance, energy for yourself. So not only do you have it during your school day, but all the things that you need to take care of it at home. And within that, there's also so many good teachable moments in terms of challenges and persevering that we can not only work through ourselves, but share with our students as well.
So many beautiful things to discuss. Megan, I love hanging out with you. I love every time we're able to record. I need you to promise that you'll be back on the pod at some time soon because you have so much to share and we didn't even get to dive into any of it. So will you promise to come back?
Oh, of course. Always.
I love it. In between our episodes, we're able to record with Megan. I want to make sure you all are able to add her to your PLN. Megan, how can our community stay connected?
So I'm on Twitter, X, whatever that is, at Meghan Pahlke. I'm on Facebook. Please find me. Let's connect. I'd love to learn from all of you.
Love it. Friends, thank you so much for listening to the show. Megan, thanks so much for joining us.